In any application, faults may arise. This may be due to the incorrect selection of the IP ingress protection for the machine, the wrong selection of the insulation protection system within the machine, incorrect setting of the regulator for overspeed and underspeed, or generally working outside of the alternator's design parameters. In this video, we look at some of the more common problems and give Mecc advice where appropriate. The responsibility for selecting the physical protection, level of insulation protection and options remains the customer's responsibility. Mecc and their representative can advise based on the operating conditions given, although severity level is not always conveyed, and for this we cannot accept responsibility. For the insulation protection systems Mecc offer, any upgrades must be specified at the time of ordering. The environment may be perfectly harmless, but there are atmospheres where it may be corrosive and abrasive. The degree of ingress protection must be determined before any order is placed. Quarry dust, vehicle brake dust are examples of an abrasive element, while salt-laden and methane-rich atmospheres are corrosive. Individually they spell trouble, but together they represent a limited life for any wound component. Selection of ingress protection and level of insulation is very important. Machines lacking in protection will quickly show green verdigris on the copper windings, which is an indication of a breach of the insulation, corroding of the copper and imminent failure. Here you can see a quite dirty rotor with evidence of copper corrosion. Damp air, high humidity or condensation will reduce the effectiveness of the insulation system within the alternator. A weak insulation system will allow voltage to pass phase to phase, phase to neutral or phase to auxiliary winding. In any event, it is a total failure of the winding. Steps should be taken to consider this both in the installation and in the insulation protection system specified at the time of order. This is shown in a separate video. Special consideration must be taken also with the degree of IP protection specified for the machine and the selection of anti-condensation heaters. Care is to be taken whenever accessing the interior of the alternator to avoid leaving behind any foreign objects, for example parts or tools. These may interfere with the rotating parts with disastrous effect. Here you can see score lines across the rotor and the resulting damage to the main stator as the foreign part exits the air gap and hits the exposed stator coils. Likely and totally new machine is required. Always try to avoid barring the genset using the alternator fan. It is a common practice, but it can also fracture the fan blade, which breaks immediately or within a short time of set operation. The resulting damage is the same and the new alternator required, but on an invalidated warranty. The standard Mecc 4-pole alternator is designed for a maximum overspeed of 2,250 RPM for 2 minutes. This is 25% above the 60 Hz 1,800 RPM speed. Operating above this speed will cause failure of the rotor due to centrifugal forces. Operating at excessive speeds will also increase the excitation voltage, which can also damage the exciter.